everyone! Today we'll be discussing our completed collection of national flag reviews. There are currently 193 sovereign countries, and we reviewed the flags for every one of them. We're very proud of our work. Check out our playlist and see how your country did, and check out the flags of other countries you're interested in. This is part 1 of 3. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of important overall issues we had with the review series. In part 2, we'll be giving an overview of the system we used and thoughts on the system itself. And in part 3, we'll be going into more detail and looking at each of the 5 parts of the system. So what was the system? We used what are known as the 5 basic principles of flag design. These principles were written by Ted Kaye of the North American Vexillological Association. The 5 principles are the following: keep it simple, use meaningful symbolism, use 2 to 3 colors which contrast well, do not use any lettering, seals, or coat of arms, and finally, be distinctive or related. We gave each flag a score out of 10 for each principle, and we added these scores and divided by 5 to give us the average score, which was also the total overall score for the flag. Our main goal from the beginning was to be consistent and use these principles fairly throughout the process. While we achieved this goal for the most part, it didn't work out perfectly. The biggest problem we had was that in the beginning of our series, we hadn't quite formulated our system properly. As a result of this, a number of our earlier reviews scored a bit differently from later ones. Before we give an example, we will be revealing scores of some flags for certain principles. In other words, this is a spoiler alert. Argentina was among the first of our flag reviews. For our principle of simplicity, we gave the flag 3 out of 10. When we reviewed the national flag of Uruguay, we gave it 0 out of 10 for simplicity, even though it has a very similar sun design on its flag, which was the reason it got a 0. So for simplicity, Argentina scored higher than it should have. There are a few other examples of this kind of scoring inconsistency with countries beginning with A, B, and C, though in most cases the overall scores aren't too different from the scores we would give them now. While it would be nice to redo some of these videos, we've decided to leave them as they are. Another issue we had to resolve was deciding what flag to review for some of the countries. This is because many countries have what are known as state and civil flags. For the most part, state flags are more complicated and often have a coat of arms. Here we see the state and civil flags of Germany. In this example, the choice was pretty easy because the civil flag is far more common, so we decided to use that one. It's not as clear-cut for other countries, however. The state and civil flags of Bolivia are both used quite often. We resolved this issue by referring to the United Nations website. They have a list of every member state along with the country's flag. We decided to use this as our guide to decide what flag to review. Unfortunately, we didn't use the UN list at the beginning, and it meant we reviewed the state flag of Costa Rica rather than the civil flag, which is the one shown on the UN site. We ended up repeating the Costa Rica review after we had completed all the others. Thankfully, this was the only one we had to redo. This completes part 1 of this series. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3, where we'll be discussing the 5 principles in more detail. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.